Welcome to Tech Talk with Jared Yellin. I am so excited to introduce a dear friend, an extraordinary entrepreneur to the NASDAQ community. Joe Camberato has built an absolutely epic business, and he has gone on a crazy journey over the past few years in particular to get to this very exciting moment, a moment where his impact is being felt across businesses from the entire country. And I just can't wait for you to hear the story of this beginning in his apartment to now small business financing for over $1 billion. I mean, over $1 billion of business has been financed through his incredible organization. Joe, thank you for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Always.
Oh, it's great to see you always, too.
I just can't wait for you. I've heard your stories many times, and I can't wait for NASDAQ to hear it as well. I know it's going to inspire them. I encourage you to get involved. He's going to share more information on how you can learn more, get involved, and this is a really exciting interview for you. So, Joe, when did you realize you were unemployable? Because you've always, right? Like early on, you're like, I'm not doing that. Like, there's no way someone's going to tell me what to do. So when did you realize that for yourself?
You know, I mean, ever since I was young, you know, I was the kid in the neighborhood buying bicycles and redoing them and reselling them. And I became a certified babysitter because it was like the only job I could get because I was too young to work. And I was literally begging like the local businesses, like please let me get like work. I'll just pay me like nothing. Yeah. And I was always too young, so I was always just figuring out ways to make money.
That's awesome.
You know, I would collect. I think my first business was yard and tag sales. I used to collect all the goods in the house that we weren't using and would sell it to make money. And then, you know, as I started to get older and grow, I always wanted to have a business. I didn't know what it was. Yeah. And, you know, it'll be 15 years now that I founded my company, which is...
So take us back to 15 years ago, right? Because started in your apartment, I believe. Right?
Yeah, my spare bedroom.
Yeah,
it's my house.
Take us back to that moment, right? Because I always love like the inception of things, like the genesis of these beautiful companies that exist today. It starts as a concept that you just committed to. What happened in that moment?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I was young. I still feel young. I think I look young, but I'm getting older. And but I was young at the time. You know, the other industry that I was in the mortgage business, and I had a lot of self-employed customers. And I get a lot of referrals. They were all self-employed business owners locally, and they all kept asking me for business loans.
Yeah.
And I really was like, at the time, this was like 2005, 2006, I started to feel like what was going on in the mortgage world didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to go off and do my own thing. I didn't really know what it was. And I really enjoyed being in the lending business. I wanted to go on like the commercial real estate side. And, you know, literally like 3 or 5 business owners in 1 month like asked me for a business loan. And I'm like, why can't you go to can't you get a loan from your bank? I don't get it. Now you gotta remember, this is back in this is like 05, 06.
Yeah.
And back then, like, you know, Google was still like not widely used by everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of financial institutions didn't have websites, right? So if you got turned down from your bank, no one knew where to go. And one, you know, awesome owner in particular had a great local business owner. His bank turned him down. I couldn't understand why, because he had a great business and he did well. And I literally went to one of the banks that I work with at a commercial division. And I said, hey, I've got this great, you know, local business owner. He wants to expand his business. It makes sense. And they laughed at me. It was a restaurant. And he wanted to expand his catering facility, open up another catering facility. He was doing really well. Did weddings and all this great stuff.
So why did they laugh at you?
They laughed at me because they said, we'll never fund a restaurant, right? And I'm like, what do you mean? And I couldn't understand it. So I said, well, do you have like a relationship? Can you point me in the right direction to another lender? So they referred me to a private lender. And long story short, that lender referred me to another lender. And ultimately, I wound up getting him financing. And he got the deal and he grew his business. And it was amazing. And I said, this is what I want to do. I want to help business owners access capital. And there's this whole world of businesses. There's this whole world of lenders out there that will, you know, fund businesses. Some are banks, some are non-banks. Some banks are really business focused, some aren't. And then there's all these different type of lenders that do credit lines to equipment financing to ABL to receivable finance. I mean, it's just endless.
Yeah.
And there's so many different small, medium-sized lenders out there all across the country. So I really, you know, had this vision of I want to make it easy for owners to access capital. I also felt like I didn't know at the time how spot on I was, that if there was a wiggle in the economy and the mortgage lending tightened up, a lot of business owners at this time were either refinancing their houses or using their home equity lines of credit to fund their businesses. And I said, if that tightens up, owners are going to have a real serious challenge of accessing capital. They're going to go figure it out. They're going to seek it. They're going to have to, because if you own a business, you're not just going to you don't just let it go. You know, in tough times, you're going to do whatever it takes. And especially the more established ones, if you've been doing this for, 5, 10 or 20 years, you're not walking away from that. That's your life, right? So, I understood at that time that there were these other lenders out there, and I just wanted to make it easy for owners to access capital. That was the vision. This was still before the word fintech was invented, and which is wild because we're a fintech company now. And most of these lenders didn't have a website. Yeah. So it was very relationship based, and I really had to go out. I built all these relationships. I brought all these lenders together, and then slowly but surely, initially I wanted to just be the local consultant, the business consultant everyone went to the money guy to get financing. And that's what it was. It's still really the mission today. We're just doing it at scale. So fast forward to today, we have over 75 lenders on my platform at National Business Capital. We've helped secure over $1 billion in financing. Awesome. We've streamlined the whole process. So we're extremely digital. Some things are still manual, but for the most part, you can apply digitally. We do a bank connection. We aggregate all the information, and then my team will do a mini review. We do a little underwrite in our office, and then we're connected to a number of different lenders. Now it's via API. So if you don't know what API is, basically our systems are connected to lenders' underwriting systems. So you apply in one place, whether it's SBA, a line of credit, a term loan, equipment financing, an ABL deal, whatever it might be, we apply. More importantly, where a lot of fintechs fail is we have great people that work at my company.
Yeah, incredible people.
And those people speak to owners. They understand their challenge or opportunity. Sometimes opportunity in business is a cash flow challenge. and then we get you connected to the right lender. So our system aggregates all the information. We push it out to these lenders, and the lenders give us back an approval, and then we bring those approvals back to the owners. That happens, can be seconds, hours, and days, not weeks and months. We move really fast. We understand customers' needs. We match them to the right financing, and we get them funded. We do
it really changes these lives for these businesses.
Yeah,
right? Because capital is everything. If you have no liquidity, it's really hard to make any move.
No,
and you're the speed at which you're able to. Because we've had businesses that work with you, and they're blown away. Joe's literally a magic man. I was approved in seconds and had the money by the next day. It's so fast. With the original pitch, when you were doing this out of your spare bedroom, and you got some local lenders to get involved, what was the pitch to them? What was the vision you casted for them?
That's actually a really good question. Well, first off, when I got started, it was not that fast, and it was not digital. It was paper applications. I had my nice fax machine. That's what my office was, a computer, a fax machine, and awesome. It was old school. Some of the newer generation that works in my company now, they don't even know what a fax machine is. Yeah. But what I did see then was there was no uniformity with the processes. Mm-hmm. So every lender had a different process. And when I realized very early on, if you were an owner, you get turned down from your bank, and you got to go apply to another lender, whether another bank or a non-bank lender. I mean, you do that 2 or 3 times. It's fatiguing.
Yeah.
It's a new application, paper, fill it out. Digital paper, you're still going to fill it out, right?
Yeah.
You got to resubmit all documentation. Some request different docs and different things. And what's crazy is a lot of them will intake your application, and then they'll give you a no, right? And that could be weeks or months later. So what's challenging is, in order to know if you're approved or not, you have to go through the whole process. Then what's even more challenging, if you get approved, you might not like the approval. And one thing I realized early on, and it's even more apparent now, because what's crazy now, go to Google, type in business loan, a million things pop up. So it's actually more confusing today.
More, for sure.
So what my pitch was then, to answer your question, and it still is today, is because back then these processes were all over the place, and all of them wanted to use their application. I said, listen, we're going to put it on one application. I'm going to lay up all the right documentation to you, so there's no back and forth, all in one shot. But more importantly, if you can explain your guidelines to me, the industries that you like, what I'll do is I'll make sure we'll bring you the right customer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right? And because, if there's not one lender that can serve every small business. So there's no one size fits all lender, which is really important to understand as a business owner. You have to get matched with the right lender. So if you're a restaurant, there are lenders that favor restaurants, but there are lenders that hate restaurants.
Sure.
If you're a contractor, if you're a doctor, there's lenders that have premium.
So you're curating the perfect client.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So we understand the guidelines, and back then it was a lot of learning, but the whole pitch back then was, let me make this easier for you to lender. So I was actually serving two people. My customers were business owners and lenders. And I was really trying to streamline, simplify the process for both sides.
Yeah.
So I was bringing a lot of value to both sides. And as I really started to build real relationships and started to get known in the industry, people understood that. And when they got, an application package from me, it was favored because they knew that it was all the docs. There was a big chance that the customer I was bringing them made sense. So, we had high approval rates and all that still today. When a customer comes to us, we look it over, we explain, hey, here's options A, B, and C. This is pretty realistic of what you're going to get approved for. Does this make sense? Yeah. If that's a yes, that's the right to the right lenders, and get them matched very quickly. And that saves so much time and money. We're my business is, I don't know what you can, our business is a time-saving business.
Which is the most important thing.
Yes.
Because that's the asset you can't get back. I remember 10 years ago, I applied for a line of credit through one of my companies at the time. And it was the most arduous process ever, literally ever. Put such a bad taste in my mouth. And then we got denied.
Yeah.
And I'm you have, I was there at my accountant.
Yeah, 90 days later.
90 days later. I was there at my accountant. I'm what are you doing? No, it's not our fault. We're just aggregating information for this lender. Why do we even get denied? There's no reason. You have to show 3 years in business. And you're only in year 1 for that business. I'm then why do we even apply?
Yeah.
Why do we even do it?
Exactly right.
It cost me $5,000 to pay the accounting for a bookkeeping business management firm to aggregate all this stuff.
Yep.
And then get denied. I'm I am never doing that again. And that's probably one of the barriers, right? When you're working with a business that has gone through the old way of doing things and you can make it so much more efficient, what do you do to educate them to build rapport and trust? So they're okay, this is a different experience for you. What does that look like?
Yeah, well, I think we ask really good questions and we really try and understand your business, what it is that you're looking to accomplish. We understand different industries. So we speak a lot of the lingos for a lot of these industries. We're able to, on a simple phone call, have a very high level conversation. And, two things that are really important that I think are really missed, with a lot of companies is, it's very hard to understand all these different lenders' guidelines.
Yeah.
We understand the guidelines very well. We do a lot of training. So my team understands lender guidelines, but they also get business. It's a very hard thing to teach business, right? So we have a business academy. We literally have an academy at my company, and we teach lender guidelines and business.
That's awesome.
And we really go through our core industries. So when we're on the phone with someone, we understand what their challenges are. We try, we uncover what their opportunity is, what the challenge is, where they're trying to get to, and then from there we can explain why. A term loan may make sense, or why a term loan I don't think makes sense. You're buying inventory. Let's look at a credit line.
Yeah.
Or you're looking to buy trucks or contractor equipment.
Right?
Yeah, super consultative.
Get them the right product.
100%. If you're going to buy equipment, we're going to look at an equipment finance deal,
awesome. And
you can finance that equipment over 5 years and still depreciate it.
That's awesome.
And a lot of times owners don't even realize this stuff. So we educate them. We're trying to if we can utilize financing for tax advantages, we're talking about that. We're always trying to leverage, their business, their cash flow. so they can retain their money, finance whatever it is they're looking to do, then put that money to work in other places in the business, whether it's hiring employees, inventory, whatever it might be, marketing, all these other things that are, never ending and needed.
And that's what I love. Like, it's not like you're trying to flip a product. I mean, you're really trying to help these businesses. Like, you're trying to understand, like, this is where you are, this is where you want to get to, this is the straight line to get there. April 2020. What is your life and business like?
Oh my God.
I know where I was when we were talking.
Yes.
But what is your life and business like? April 2020.
Yeah, we had some nice long talks.
Yeah. But it's just resilience, though. Like, I say this all the time. Like, what Joe went through when there was no lending and a big company, a lot of people, but did right by everybody. And as a result, you didn't just live to tell the story. Like, you're now thriving.
Yes.
That transpired. But April 2020, COVID is hit. It's here. People are scared. There's no lending. What do you do?
It was a wild time. I mean, we try to help as many of our customers as possible. Lending stopped. All of our lenders, we have 75 lenders on our platform. They all paused.
Wow.
I mean, that was scary. My inventory is money, right? So my inventory got halted, which, my whole business stopped overnight. I started the company through 2008, 2009, so I had flashbacks of that, and I was able to power through that. Mm-hmm. A lot of things that I learned then set me up for that, but it didn't set me up for I figured at some point, and I was prepared for a recession, right? Because you have to in business, right? I didn't think that a virus, would basically do what it did.
Shut down.
But it stopped everything, and I never experienced it. None of us did, right? So it stopped. I mean, you got to go in a hunker down mode. You got to preserve capital, and you got to react and move quickly. A lot of fast decisions had to be made. And then on top of that, we did the best that we could with communicating to our employees and our customers. And I was very real, hey, we're going to have to make some cuts. We're going to have to preserve right now in order to get to the other side of this. I think everyone really appreciated the honesty.
Yeah.
And people knew that it was something that was out of my control. It's not like we made foolish decisions and put the company in a bad place. It was hey, everything stopped. So we hunkered down. And then, we really utilized the time to let's clean up everything we can in the business processes. I mean, we were really good with processes and streamlined, but we utilized that time to clean up everything, to utilize that time wisely. So as things came back, we were really back at it way before everybody else was. And, brought the team back and literally reorganized the whole company.
That's awesome.
And then we got really focused on, what's our mission? And we're really here to drive growth for all, which is employees and our customers, which are small business owners. We got really refocused on this new vision and mission, and streamlined everything that we literally could. And we're back at it. We did a few hundred transactions last month, which is crazy. Over 1,000 applications, and we are just back at it. Couldn't be more excited for the future. We've secured over $1 billion in financing.
Awesome.
I think we're going to do $1 billion a year in financing, which is just crazy to say. You brought me back today, asked my questions from when I started. When I got started, $1 billion wasn't even even a thought, right? It was I wasn't even thinking about that. So, and our mission is just continuing to make it easy for owners to access capital, and in order to help them grow their businesses.
That's
and
awesome.
We're adding and doing other things around growth and helping business owners grow.
It's awesome. So relationships have really been everything for you. You have an entire relationship division, right?
Yeah.
What does that look like? That partnership, relationship division. Why does it even exist? When did you realize why that's so important? I know you track everything.
Yeah.
But you're the relationship division is killing it compared to the ad spend, right?
Yeah.
Speak into that division because that's what I stand for.
Yeah. Well, it's all about partnerships and relationships. So we're always about, and listen, it's also about building great relationships with our lenders, great relationships with our customers, great relationships with our employees.
Yeah.
All good business is built on relationships, right? And I'm all about relationships where everybody's winning. So, we love strategic partnerships and relationships where we're partnering up with people where their customers are small business owners, and they might be selling a product or service to a business owner, and that business owner needs financing.
Yeah.
So we work with equipment resellers, consultants, all types of people where their business is small business, and we help get their customers the financing they need. And what our partners, like is that they know they can partner with a really great company that's not just a lender that only has one lending product. That we have a whole suite of products from SBA lending to term loans to credit lines, and we really, we treat their customers just like they're our customers. We work with those customers, we educate them, we get them the right funding that they need, and then usually they're going and buying their referral parties like product or service, right? So everyone's winning. Our referral partner's winning, our customers winning, we're winning, which is great. And there's nothing better than like a win-win situation in business where everyone's winning. And we love our referral partners. We have big corporate referral partners, and we have small referral partners. We love them all, and we're just here. The whole point is to help serve small and medium-sized business owners so they can grow their business. And we want to make sure that they access capital, but we want to make sure that they access the right capital.
Yeah, that's huge. What's left? Like, what's the vision from here? You've accomplished a lot. Like, you've built this incredible culture too. You have team members whose lives are transformed, not even just for the work they do, but just being in your orbit, because you bring positive energy and personal development and just commitment. Like, you commit to people, whether they're your clients, whether they are your team members, whether they're the vendors and strategic alliances you work with. What's left for you? What's the vision from here?
Well, from here, I started this whole Grow by Joe initiative, which has really taken off. And what really gets me up and excites me today is, this whole new mission of driving growth for all. And what that means is I love seeing the team grow. It's super awesome. And, seeing people come in from the company and starting in one position and growing their way up. And then helping business owners grow in a number of different ways. And, my goal is to be this sought after person that helps you grow your business. And I want to help other owners scale and grow their business. I did it from zero, from nothing, without private equity, which is amazing within itself, right? And I've learned so many things, some the hard way. So I want to help other owners avoid some of those mistakes. I'm working on a book. And everything's just around, helping others grow, which is super exciting.
That's awesome.
And what I love about that is the whole country is made up of small to medium-sized companies, right? Like, it's the whole country's small business.
That is the economy.
So we are, by helping small businesses grow, that's helping so many other people grow. Families, employees, like creating jobs. Like,
the ripple effect is off the charts.
I never really realized how much of an impact my company could have, and I have now, and it's really exciting. We've done over 20,000 transactions. Like, when I think about that, I'm like, wow, like how much impact does that have in the small business community? Like, how many jobs does that create? How many owners? We had a business owner that started with a $50,000 loan from us. Last month, we secured $1 million for them.
That's awesome.
And when they applied 5 years ago, and they applied, there was no way they couldn't get $1 million, right? And my team was speaking with them, and they were so happy for everything that we did. They explained like where they were, where they are now, how they got there, and what they're doing, and they were going and they were in the transportation business. They were buying a bunch more trucks. And they were like hiring 20 more people,
awesome.
From that round of funding. So it's just like hearing those stories is amazing.
That's just awesome. How do people find you? Speak to the NASDAQ community.
Yeah.
How do they find you?
We can find my company, my team at nationalbusinesscapital.com. And you can follow me at Grow by Joe. I encourage you to check out my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Grow by Joe. Ton of content, ton of videos there about financing, about growing your business. And you can also follow me on LinkedIn at Grow by Joe as well too.
What I so appreciate about your content, I know how much time, energy, and resources you put into it, is you're taking this world of small business financing and you're just making it really easy for people to understand. And I really acknowledge you for that, because if you look at any of the other content, like you said, you search small business financing on Google, it's actually a bigger problem today than when you couldn't find it at all, right?
Yes.
Because it's just information overload. Who do you trust? Where do you go? And you've just simplified it. Like, you've just made it easy. And your impact is so much bigger than you realize, because there are people that watch your content and they may not even end up working with your firm, but now they're educated and making better decisions with other firms, which I know that you stand for. Like, I know that you just stand to help people get what they need to grow. I just want to acknowledge that. That says a lot of that.
I appreciate that. And it has been a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of work, but I love it. And, hey, if that helps another owner grow, and be better. Like whether you work with us or not, it doesn't matter. It's all good. It all works out, and we're just happy to help.
That's awesome. NASDAQ, I brought Joe here because I wanted to show you an extraordinary success story. Also a wonderful human. Someone who's just committed to not just doing really well economically, but really producing massive impact. And the ripple effect of what Joe has done with his team, with his organization, is something that truly can't even be measured. And what I wanted you to learn is because this could serve you. Like in your business right now, the difference between where you are and where you want to be most likely is some form of capital. And there's all these creative ways and vehicles that you can use. So I encourage you to go check out Joe's website, check out his content, get involved with what he's doing so that he can support you so that you can go and support other people as well. We appreciate you for your time. Thank you for watching the show. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.